everyone. Let's see, wait till we get some people on. I can't see, but
Peace, Chiefia.
first one. Hold on. All right.
Peace. Shabbat Shalom. No, we got a different backdrop today. Peace, everyone.
All right. Well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and welcome to the Sabbath Insight. This is a follow-up from Chief Yuya, and if you don't know who Chief Yuya is, he is our master, and he is the founder and Jegna of Our New Life Global Ministries. We are sisters that are in his house, and we come on live every Sabbath following his messages, and we share some of our insights pertaining to the message that he just gave. So for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, we want to welcome you. And we just want to kind of give you a brief update. So over the course of a few strongs or weeks, our master has been giving messages on the science of a righteous family. He's gone through many different lessons from emotional attachment to the vetting process,
The Redeemer and the Savior.
The Redeemer and the Savior. And then today he touched on courting. Yes, not dating, but courting. So, for those of you who don't know what courting is, you want to give them a nice little...
Yeah. So courting is just a process of discovery where you're getting to know a fellow Anu brother or sister, particularly in your community. So it's just a process of getting to know the other person. So in determining, like, if you want to conjoin in union and conjoin in marriage.
So that's what we're going to touch on today. We're going to try our best to keep up with the chat. We're outside in nature, and the sun is kind of heavy, so we're going to try to, keep up with everyone in the chat. But one of the things, I think we had a nice question to ask everyone before we get started, just to kind of kick everything off, get your juices flowing.
Yeah, we just wanted to ask, what are some common problems that you face when dating or when getting to know someone? What are some common challenges that you faced? It could be in the past or it can be currently, so. Yeah.
All right, so one of the things that our master talked about in the beginning was the necessity of courting. And he kind of, shared some ideas about why you may want to court. And I just think about, when he talks about proving yourself, being able to prove that you are, you are who you are, you're capable of being with that person, and you're not just hastening to a quick judgment or just thinking that, well, they're cute and I like them, and, I'm gonna get with them because whatever, right? And that made me think about, like, this day and age, the whole, like, Tinder and Instagram and the swipe culture. That's what I called it, the swipe culture. So you just get on social media and you start swiping, and you're looking for, you might be looking for a mate. I don't know what y'all do, but you might be looking for a potential lover or something. And even if you're thinking about something on a serious matter, I just think about how in Western culture, that way of approaching something as serious as maybe a union or getting to know someone, that's acceptable to just use social media. And it's like, man, well, what do you look for? Like, if that's your criteria that you're using, like, what do you actually look for? Like, oh, are they pictures perfect, or
right,
what
like
kind of
vanity?
Yeah, it's like, well, what college did they graduate from, or what kind of car do they have, or are they taking really good selfies at this angle or that angle? So it's like, what would you look for if you're you're coming from that sort of way of thinking? And we have a lot of young people who are doing that nowadays. So
yes, we do have some answers to the questions. Rod Takes Life says, some challenges for me would be thinking I am ready for a union when I am not. Okay. And I wonder, like, if you can, like, share, like, how did you find that out? Like, what made you realize that? And Shivia says, thinking my public image is the whole of who/what I am. they don't realize that on social media or in speeches I am being private and professional. Watching 100 hours of videos isn't all of me. Yeah.
Exactly. That's kind of like, it's kind of like when you meet a public figure or somebody who's considered a public figure. Let's say you did meet them and you're like, and I've seen this with people who are famous. You might see them in women or girls or whoever, they just falling all over them and they feel like, well, I know him, and because I read in this magazine, his favorite food is spaghetti, and I read it's like, and I watched his videos and he said this, so I know him. And it's like, I think about that whole idea of whether you like a person or not, and I feel like you can't say whether you like a person just off of what you see on social media or on YouTube or whatever their public image is. You may like what they present in that space,
right,
or how they present themselves in a professional matter, but I think it takes you just got to be real and know, like, well, I don't actually know the person to say whether I like them or not.
Yeah, I think that's where the courting process comes in, because you may be like seeing like, oh, this person appears to have all the good qualities as a woman we're supposed to watch and listen with our eyes. So like, I think like at that point it's like, okay, well, let me court this person to actually get to know them and see if we have compatibility.
Right.
So
right. That goes back to the swipe culture when you're swiping. If you're trying to understand what would be the difference in courting and maybe dating, like, we're trying to give you that insight, give you that difference, so that you understand why in I Knew, which is the community we're a part of, I Knew Life Global Ministries, which is why we have that in place. It helps us to be able to determine, who we're getting to know and if that person is a potential mate.
Absolutely. Rod Takes Life says, so the idea of your elder deciding for you will be wise for me. Okay. Master Milik said, a challenge when I used to date was encountering a feminist mindset or the idea that men are so once you've met one man, you've met them all.
That is true. I've seen a lot of women who they have, well, I'm sure we've all heard it, they'll say, well, it's just a man. It's like, well, darn, you dated every man in the world, so you just determined that all men are just a certain way, or it's just kind of like...
Yeah, it's like a lack of respect.
Yeah.
Definitely a lack of respect.
When you said respect, I thought about when let's see, what did he talk? He talked about over on the continent the process of courting and how it looks, and how, if a young man says he wants to, he's looking for a wife, his father, he has to go through, the youngest uncle, and then, it goes all the way up to the father, and they go and find, them a wife. And I think about respect, and to me, there's a process in how that is done, and there's a culture and there's a reverence that's created when you do that. And I think that's the difference that I really picked up when he explained that, and even what's in the I Knew way for courtship versus how in Western culture or Western society we're taught to just go, you see a cute boy or a cute girl, you just go on a date, and
that reverence for family is there even before you create your own. It's like that's the focal point. And I just think about the foundation in which you start off. Okay, family attachment theory. Let's start when we were children. That was the foundation.
There's a respect for that, and I think that's the difference. That's a really big difference. You don't see the respect for family as much, because everybody kind of just do what they want. They're choosing, or but that respect of like, well, one, like the father may be saying, well, you may not even know what is good for you, so let me, I'm choosing that for you. And I think that's deep.
It would have helped a lot of us maintain our chastity, and the word that kept ringing out to me when I heard today's insight was royalty. I was like, this is a culture of royal people. You know, like in this crazy American culture, they teach you like, oh, he just want to with pleasures, he just want to sleep with a whole bunch of women. It's like, like.
But he gave the example. That example he shared about, you know, your mother and your consort, and I thought about like, yeah, in polygyny, in a family, you're talking about a family, and ultimately you're really talking about a business. And so when you're thinking about like, this is what it made me think of. Like when you're thinking about bringing someone into your family, it's like that courting process is almost like your interview process when you're hiring a new person. You know, it's like you get to know them. They may have a resume and they may say, you know, these things are, you know, I can do this or I have that, or this is where I may not have certain skills. And then, you know, almost like as the CEO, you're determining, okay, they don't have certain skills. Maybe I need to put them in certain professional development courses so that they can develop in this area, so that they can continue to add on to the team, because we're building something. We have a mission, we have a goal. You know, it made me think of that. So when people look at polygyny and they don't really understand it, and maybe we only understand it on a certain degree, but for those who may have never experienced it or don't even know what the word means, or, you know, it's like you're not going to understand it, and it takes a certain level of thinking to be a part of it. That's what
I think about what Chief taught in that marriage is for adults. It's like he just went through the vetting process, and it's like when you're going through a courtship, you're getting to know someone, you're using that vetting process. So it's like he already gave like hey, this is how you vet someone. So when you enter into a courtship, or like, okay, I want to get to know someone, you already have the tools of like what to look for.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Man, I thought it was powerful information. Occulted Yafe says people have whole relationships on Facebook without even vetting one another, right?
My Facebook husband is my Facebook wife. Oh, really?
Raw Takes Life said it would have to be that I was not ready for commitment, and I still wasn't sure who I was as a boy and who I wanted to be as a man. Okay.
I think those are important to know before you get involved with someone. Definitely.
Yeah, because you have people saying like, I need to find me. I need to discover who I am. It's like you waiting until you join a union to, you know, like, and that brought me back to what I was sharing before we got on the live. I was just talking about like how we like, it's important that we're whole people, and it reminded me like, well, that's why the foundation was attachment theory, like being whole, because it's like when you're vetting someone, it's like you are vetting like the value of that person. Like, okay, what benefit? What would be the purpose of us coming together? Like, you know, what value or purpose would this even serve us coming together? So, I just thought about like, yeah, this is for mature people. It's not for immature people. And I think when it is immature people, that's where you have the divorces.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that lack of maybe just culture. You know, you don't know how to. You don't know what you're doing. You're just doing what you're doing, and what you're doing ain't doing nothing.
Right. Going based on one desire, no type of spiritual foundation, no type of Most High Yah is not in it, and
no structure, no order. He talks about that when you're courting, and how the man creates that structure and that order of the courtship. So, you know, those are important things to even look at too.
I think everyone answered the question. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
Thank you everybody for sharing, for answering that question. But I just kept going back to that royalty piece. I was like, this is a dignified cultural way to be, and it was a little sadness, I would say, that came up, because it's like, oh man, like that was like taken from us, that was taken from our forefathers, and I guess, you know, due to their poor decisions though. But I just thought about like it's unfortunate that this is what it came to. But I do give thanks for the opportunity to be a part of our new, because it's like we're given a culture, we have a doctrine, we have laws, so it's like
we have something to put us back on the right path. I also, you know, I thought it was very powerful what our master spoke about last night on the study session. For those of you who are watching and don't know, on the 6th day, which is Friday, or Yom Shishi in our culture, that's what we call it, every 6 sixth day at 7 p.m., our master holds a study session, an Anu study session that's open to the public. And he just allows people to come on and share what they've been studying and learning. So this particular sixth day, he was talking about a couple of things. And one of the things he mentioned was that in this work, the work that he does as a Jegna and waking up the mentally dead, the sleep, the dry bones, waking us up as a people is the hardest job to do. And then he talked about how we're literally having to brainwash ourselves out of the garbage that we have been given. You know, we've been pushed so far away from our culture and who we really are as people. So I thought about that in terms of the topic of courting, and he mentioned polygyny, and that is the way that our people are really, that's how we function, you know. And when we don't, you know, it's kind of like we're really fighting against something that I think we know innately inside of us. It really is, you know, it's supposed to be that. And think about, like, I think he used this example, but think about, like, when we were young as little girls, like maybe we had celebrity crushes that we had, like,
right.
you know, and all the girls like the same guy, or just, you know, so certain things, it's like, well,
it was like innate. It became natural.
I'm thinking about elementary school. It was Little Bow Wow. all the little girls, we all loved Little Bow Wow. Oh boy. But you know, so but that's just like, it seems like that's normal. It's normal to do that. So yeah. Anybody else saying?
No, I don't think
I can barely see.
Barely
see what
yeah, I would say, like, that was, well, I would just say, like, what I thought was really beautiful that Chief shared was that when a sister is promised to a man through the father, like, I thought it just wrapped, like, everyone's role into the experience. The father, the uncles, the mother, the aunties, everybody's included in that process. You know, and it makes me think about, like, how we didn't have a rites of passage, you know, growing up and coming into womanhood, and then, like, okay, now I'm about to conjoin, I'm about to get married, or I'm about to come into motherhood. Like, how there's a celebration, there's an acknowledgement that this is something that is to be acknowledged by the community. You know, and oh, man, I just thought that was beautiful. I was like, wow, like, everyone
has a role.
Yeah, it's communal.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, but I think it shows the importance of family.
Yeah.
And I think that's the ultimate thing. Like he said, that's the first thing they attack is the family. And so it's weird because even in the dysfunction that a lot of our families are in, I notice, like, I don't know, sometimes if you've ever experienced, I don't know if y'all have, but you could be with someone and maybe they did you dirty or something happens, I don't know. But if you heard them, like, the whole family wants to pull up and the whole family might want to scrap or something, you know, it's
right,
do that,
right,
y'all.
It's like, where they at?
Yeah.
He hurt you.
But I think about that, it's like, that tells you something, like, maybe even deep down inside, even in the dysfunction, there's a sense of importance in understanding family, you know. And when you don't have family, what that looks like, you know, you're kind of on your own, you know, and you're trying to make your decision for yourself. But, you know, knowing, like, this is, if you're marrying one, you're marrying the whole family, or this is a it's like a business agreement. It's a partnership,
right?
You know,
and your family, they be excited. I know my mother, like, you know, when you gonna have me some grandbabies, or like different things she said. And, you know, even my father, like, oh, before I leave this planet, like, I want to be able to, like, you know, that's innate. It's like a natural thing, you know, for them to even want to be a part, you know. So,
and do you value that? You know, I think about, I know myself, like, wanting to be able to give that to my own father, you know, like, to have some grandchildren and be able to experience that experience of being a grandfather. So there's a certain level of respect and, you know, understanding, like, certain things have to be fulfilled within this structure, this family. And it's like, if you don't, like, how would the next generation know what it looks like? How would they know how to be when it's their turn to be a mother, when it's their turn to be a father, when it's their turn to be a grandfather, and so on and so forth. So
yeah, and it kind of ties into like why we as women stress the importance for women to keep their virginity, keep their chastity, and do things the right way. Because as she shared, there's a lot of consequences, that ensue as a result of not
keeping it.
Yeah.
And I think about the whole, like, that being able to attach, that healthy attachment, and being able to come to under one thought, one mind, one mission. You're, once you join yourself to that man. And so if you lose that because you've been, involved with a lot of men, like, that can cause a lot of issues, And so I think we see that, just in the world, we see that, especially in Western culture, and sometimes people be, I just don't know what, you probably don't.
Yeah.
So it's just, being real and being honest, and where are our people? Where are we today? And where do we need to get to? And what tools are out there for us to use? So
Right.
I'm always going to tell you, like, mine's a little, but get you the I Knew Way. Okay? Foundation. Yes. I went old school and printed mine out. That's just me. But it is available in a PDF file online, and you can just carry it around with you on your Kindle, on your tablet, or your phone.
Mm-hmm. Go to iNewLifeGlobal.org. You can download it for free, or you can give a donation. Like, the courting process is in there.
Yes.
The betrothal period, the marriage, like, it's in our doctrine. So
there's also a beautiful video on the I Knew Life Global Ministries where you can see what that process actually looks like.
Yes.
And I think that is Sister Yamina and Brother
and Master Menelec.
Yes, they had their ceremony, so you can go on to the I Knew Life Global Ministries YouTube channel and check that out.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I almost cried. I was like, let me not,
Don't do the snot bubble cry.
I was like, don't do that, because I was like, our sister getting married. It's like,
But it's beautiful because the community is involved. Everybody who's witnessing, and everything that you're doing, it has a meaning. You're not just doing it just to do it.
Right.
Everything has a meaning, a rhyme, and a reason. And I think that's the beautiful thing about culture. When you have a true culture and you're not just doing something because, well, that's just the way they did it on TV. That's what they told us we're supposed to do.
Yeah. It's even beautiful to see how each family, once they conjoin in union, I shouldn't say family, but union, like what they plan to do inside of the community. Mm-hmm. And when they do create families, like, okay, what that family is going to represent and be
inside of the community. Yeah.
So it's beautiful. It's really beautiful to me. Mm-hmm. From like what he shared about like seeking the face of the Creator, and like finding like from like being interested, like, okay, I'm in that space where I want to marry, I want to conjoin. It's like that spiritual element there. It's like each phase it's like a spiritual element to all of it. So it's like this is a dignified culture. It's not something that's like a game. It's not for immature people that just ain't got nothing up here. Can't comprehend. It's like I just it's like it's like it's serious. So it's like like Chief was saying, like, this was my queen. So it's like those terms are not just thrown out like, oh, I'm queen such and such. It's like, where your king at then?
You can't have a king. You can't have a queen without a king.
Right. So it's like that's games being played. That's not. Oh, you playing around.
Yeah.
It's like our ancestors, they didn't do that. So yeah. That's. You have any like last final thoughts or?
Yeah. Well, I would say that process, the process of courting, it is something that you should take your time and do. And I think, a lot of what was shared today, it kind of gives you a great picture. And what I'm talking about, for those of you who might just be clicking on for the first time or just hopping on right now, our Master Chief Yuya on the I Knew Life Global Ministries YouTube channel talked about the process of courting and what that looks like. When you're getting to know a sister or a brother who, you could potentially mate with, But that contrast, he was able to share, and you can see the difference when you take your time versus, in Western society, you might just haste after something, oh, they cute, and he cute, and now y'all in the bed making a baby that probably don't need to bring it to the world. But I think about, the courting, I think about, like, putting something like a pot roast or something in the oven to cook versus throwing something on the stove and letting it fry like a piece of chicken, that quick microwave. Putting something in the microwave, like a I don't know, a hot pocket, right? But you have something that you're taking your time and letting it cook and letting the juices and everything marinate and all of that, and it's going to be tender and it's going to come out the oven and just be really nice and ready, in the end. So
absolutely.
I think about that when he says the courtship,
Yeah.
And so, like he said, what makes the courtship successful is when you get to know the person.
Right.
All
right, see, we have a couple of comments that popped up. So I see a Koti Yafe. I keep thinking betrothal and how it is much safer and more sane. Okay, well then,
safer and sane than what?
Yeah, in what way? As Milik said, with hookup culture, you also have people approaching each other, and cuteness not just being a determining factor for a relationship, but it's just we're both cute. Let's have sex tonight. I hope I read that correctly. That's for immature people.
If you want to sleep with, I can't even see it.
GBI said if you want to sleep with a bunch of females, then you can just go dating on a dating app. Polygyny limits you to a count and adds more accountability. Yes.
Yeah, because you have to be accountable for like what you're giving out, who you're giving out to. If you, well, I can't speak for a man, but I could imagine like if say you have I don't know, this might be a good example or it might not, but I don't know. Say you have a certain tool in your toolkit, a screwdriver, and you just let any old body in the neighborhood up the block just use it when they come and say, I want to use it. You just giving it out to any old body who wants it, and then when it comes back, it's all jammed up, it's scratched up, and they done messed up your screwdriver. Well, the people in your house, when you need to use that screwdriver to fix something for your people in your home, it just, now it's no good, because you don't know who you really been giving your screwdriver off to. That was an example that just came to mind. Like, so don't be giving your screwdriver out to everybody. And
that's really like says chief's emphasis on process is crucial. Yeah,
everything's a process. I think that's the nature of life. Everything is a process, and we talked about that last night, the supreme mathematics. You're going through all of those stages, so even in the courtship, it's like, there's a process that you're going through. You're going through different degrees of getting to know a person, and then hopefully at the end you will have born knowledge, created a cipher.
And GPS says, I need to find me equal I want to live my best life equal I want more sexual partners. Man, just living the fast life. It's just like
my best life.
It's like, what does that amount to? Like, what does that amount to? What is that? Yeah.
Like, that's what the song meant then. I didn't know that. I'm living my best life. Something.
I don't even know the song that.
I just remember it was really like big at one point because my family they played it every. I was like, okay, but
it's like I'm living my best. I want to live my best life. Like, that's just it just sounds like you just want to go wild and crazy. You don't want to abide by no laws. Issues arise, you're gonna be one of them persons when something comes up and issues arise, you be like, man, what happened? What's going on? Like, it's like you don't know what's happening. I'll go to you and said, I found it beautiful that the whole family is involved and invested, right?
Even back in the day, and I think about this because even though we may have come from families who didn't necessarily have quote unquote a culture, I always feel like in some way maybe there was a knowing, because even back in the day, if a guy wanted to talk to a girl, she had to come and sit down in the living room at your home and meet your father, you had to meet their parents. Like, there was still a level of respect for family. You know, you couldn't just tell the girl, like, you know, sneak outside of the house, I'm gonna come pick you up, and you sneak out and we going to do whatever, we going to on a date. But you actually had to come into the house, shake the man's hand, the father's hand, and that was a form of, like, it may not have been as respect, but I think about that, yeah, when you shake another man's hand, like, I guess you're sizing it up. I don't know, you're sizing them up, but you're seeing who this person is. What are they really, you know, about? So imagine if you don't have that present as a young woman. You know, imagine what that might do. You know, you may not understand, like, that's a sense of protection, you know, maybe for you, and you don't even know it. Because that person may be able to spot, like, they're not worth investing into, or this person isn't worth me giving my daughter over to. So, you know, in some ways I was just trying to find a correlation or to see.
Hoti Yamina said it makes sense that the father oversees it, because as the patriarch, his son, which is his seed, will continue
the legacy.
GPS said it was either Ronnie, Bobby, Rocky, or Mike in my time.
Ricky or Mike. I think because I was saying back then it was Little Bow Wow. All the girls were fighting over Little Bow Wow in B2K.
Yeah, they had them posters that you would put on your wall and stuff like that.
I was a diehard.
I wasn't into all that.
I didn't need the posters. I just knew every dance routine, and I'm a Bow Wow fan.
I was like, I'm just here for the music, man. CBS said y'all should join the chat, because they may not see your comments. It's hard to see them, you know. So.
It is. I didn't even bother, because I'm like, I have to get so up on the camera.
She said whole family wants to pull up to fight, but not celebrate, promotion, or support a child's.
That is true.
Recital. I know.
Is that true?
Yeah, like.
So true. Oh man.
Okay, let's see. What's up, y'all? Okay, yeah, because I was thinking before we jumped on the live, like, for those who have courted, to maybe share, like, what that experience was like, for those who are curious, like, oh, I wonder what a courtship is, or what it was like, you know, like, to, you know, join us and share, like,
or hop on the live and come share
what
that courtship might have been like.
That would be wonderful.
It's a beautiful process. I think because there's different stages in the Anu way. It talks about having different stages, and I think one of the beautiful stages, like, also because you do have to think this is, you know, somewhat like a business. This is an investment, so you're in that. You can even see, like, can we work together on a business level? Can we create some sort of
absolutely,
you know, a project? Can we work together in that way, in a successful way? And I think that's a great area to explore.
She said when families conjoin, they create webs of networking. Now you have new artisans and tradespeople or tradespeople in your network. You can even web based on that value. That reminds me of what Chief shared about a woman being able to add value, like, to be able to make those linkages. She's not just coming and not really giving, or it's like he has to tell her, like, everything to do. Because she's been prepared. You know, that's the difference, I think. And, you know, we haven't been prepared in this country necessarily for those things. We've been prepared to work and to go and, you know, go to college and give all our money over to build other people's nations and kingdoms, but nothing within our own community. You know, we don't have a sense of that. But in the I knew, that's what we're learning, that's what we're building. You know, so I think that's great. I don't have any requests to join. That's okay. Rod Takes Life says, when I moved and had to truly start seeing Anu as my family and my birth family as just relatives, since we don't keep the same culture. Anu Wom said, you have to, in order to get to a place where, you know, you start to make those changes, because
I don't know, like sometimes I know I did where I looked at my family and I'm just like, you sit back and you're like, something just ain't right. You know, like everybody might say, well, the solution is go to college.
Mm-hmm.
The solution is you just got to make more money, then the family will be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
And none of those things have worked. It hasn't worked, like, you know. And then I think once, like, I knew you learn, like, culture. Everybody's living under one culture, one way of being and doing things, and, you know.
Absolutely. Anu Womb says, in Anu, the arranged stages and what happens in each stage is a metamorphosis. That organized structure and the submission to what is outlined. Mm-hmm. Yes, I do think about what it shares in the Anu way, that respect and discipline is at the onset. You know, when you're meeting someone, it's not just these feelings of lovey-dovey. I feel this way about it. It's like, no, like there's respect and there's discipline because we're both a part of the same culture. We're both living the same culture.
Mm-hmm.
So
and
it's
we're
like
building towards something. So
you
got those fuzzy feelings. You can't make sound judgment. You know.
Right. GPS says, you didn't almost cry. Knock it off. Y'all was waiting to eat. Y'all wanted me to speed it up. I was having a good time. Went over there to like, hey, you know, it's like it was a good time. It was fun, you know. It's like we was having a good time, you know. Akoti Yafir says, there is also the audiobook. She's speaking about the Anu way.
It's really good to have like that, because sometimes I let that play in throughout the house. You know, whatever. Like if I'm cooking or something in the kitchen, like I like to have that playing.
Yeah, absolutely. Working out and stuff. And Agil Kara said that ceremony was beautiful. It was. Again, y'all can view that on Anu Life Global YouTube channel. You can see the ceremony. Rod Takes Life says their ceremony was the first time ever attending a wedding, so it really set a standard for me.
In what way?
Their ceremony was my first time ever attending a wedding, so it really set a standard for me. Yeah.
So now you gonna be the next one?
GBS says you was bouncing a basketball against the wall. Rock Takes Life.
Oh. Wasn't that? It didn't say that much of a standard for you.
Anu says, from the vetting process, we see how involved the entire family has to be. It's like both parties get to see how roles, responsibilities, and function play out as an example / standard.
Yeah, I think it's important because I always think about the people that are coming behind. When babies are involved, like they need to be able to see and know what it looks like, you know, in a healthy way. And I think we see when you don't have those things in place, you know, when you don't value certain things, then those things they're missed in the next generation, you know.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I'll go to Yafe say safer than dating and more sane than the concept of vetting by yourself. Sabra Eid says courting provides a deeper sense of value too. In what way? Can you share or join the live and share more on that? Because that seemed like that could be like a whole conversation in itself. Shivia says there have always been harlots and strumpets. You could sex under the HS bleachers. Oh, the removal of the father from the home has been happening since chattel slavery. Yes. I mean, man, like just
How to Make a Slave. Think of that book, How to Make a Slave, and just that whole process of extracting the father out of the home. That hedge of protection, you know, that earthly protection that you are supposed to have and receive before you actually receive your husband, you know. So just think about that, you know, when that's gone.
Right. That's why the importance of submission comes in, and not being rebellious as a female, because it's like you're causing yourself to be unprotected, and it's like that's insanity. That's crazy. Makota Yafe says, yes, we have been giving the tools and I'm not sure what that says. I think it's a typo. Yes, we have been given the tools and getting, but if we have righteous culture and family, then that vetting is done by the family. Rod Takes Life says, one of the coaches who would speak to me a lot taught me to shake a man's hand and said it's one of the most important parts of getting,
To know.
the most important parts of greeting another man. Okay.
And that could be maybe relative to the culture that you're a part of, because that may not be the case in other countries where you shake a man's hand. But I know here in Western culture that's the thing. I know that was something, you know, I learned pretty young, and because I saw you know.
Yeah, I think there was like a whole post that was posted on GVI's Instagram where it was a different culture, and I think it was a man like fighting like a bull or something. And it's like, okay, you gotta like fight almost to, like, this is life or death, and you're doing this, and you know, like, to prove that, you know, it's like I am qualified. I'm like, wow, now that's something different.
Prove that friend.
That's something different. It's like,
prove that friend, and
you know,
and quick.
Yeah, it's like, and it does go back to rites of passage. You think about like, okay, when a young girl is coming into womanhood, or when a young man is coming to manhood, like the different like things they have to do, maybe like go out into the forest and kind of like, are you gonna stay there overnight or by yourself and you gotta figure it out, you know, or, you know, it's just like there's a grooming. Yeah,
I don't know why I just thought of Survivor Theory, but just that whole process of like, you just gotta go through all these different obstacle courses to get to the end, and you know, and I think well, even within maybe that courting process, everybody may get a different level of whatever they have to go through to get to the end, but that's that trying process. I think, like the vetting, you know, which you're seeing if that person are they okay to go into that next stage with or not.
Right. Aki El Karar says, through media of other cultures, courting process is demonized and shown as insane, and individual selection and romance is the answer for you.
I mean, there's a whole culture created off of romance, so.
Yes, it is. Like all those love movies, and like, I mean, I think that feeds into like the programming of women like having this delusion. Like she was sharing, like, okay, you at a certain age and you thinking like, you're not even able to like be real about your situation and where you are because you watch too many romance movies.
Or the songs that come out. There was a song, I used to like the song, but there was a song, it was like where the man was singing to the woman. He's like, I'll give you the sun, the rain, the moon, the stars, and the mountains. Like, he gonna give you the world. And there are women who really think like, when I go into a relationship or a marriage, I want the world. And it's like, well, what qualifies you to have the world? Like, that doesn't even make sense, you know. But a lot of people they think that, you know, and that's a part of that romance. And
right.
Man,
it don't do us no good. GVS says, I will be doing that ceremony from my cremation at the pace you're going. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll go. I think we're going slow. Okay, Master Menelik says, right, Aki El Karar. Even though we plainly see the results of individual selection, those movies show you up until the wedding, but never the actual marriage.
Oh yeah, they don't show you what happens behind closed doors. You know, what that really looks like to be husband and wife, or, you know, what does it look like to work through a relationship or a marriage, because it takes work to do that. But what does it actually look like? Sometimes we don't know. We don't know when situations come up. How do we handle them? What's the proper way to handle them? It's not something that is taught, and we don't see that, you know.
Yeah, that's real. GVS says, when women keep themselves chaste and out of men's faces, even down to shaking hands, they are more valued. Again, a picked over woman is undesirable. Yeah,
absolutely. I would agree. Those are lessons that I know I had to learn. Like, certain things you just don't open yourself up to. Not even, you know, looking at a person in their eyes, because that could be like you're opening yourself up and then welcoming them into your space, you know, and they'll feel like they could just say whatever, you know. So, yeah. I wanted to share an example because
Go ahead.
I was thinking about. I remember one time being at the grocery store, and oh man, I remember this lady was in line, and this was years ago. I was working at the grocery store, but this lady was in line, and she was with her baby, I think, and she was purchasing something. I don't even remember what it was, but there was a guy who was in line next to her. And so she was purchasing it, and she was like, well, I hope this is good, and I don't know. And so the guy behind her just was like, that's not, they're not really a good brand of, it could have been, I don't know, it could have been soda or drink, something she had. And he was like, that's not a good brand, you should get such and such because X, Y, and Z, is better. And she was like, and then he told her something else about the brand she was going to get, and she was like, really? Like, I didn't know that. Oh my gosh, let me put this back and get such and such. But in that moment, I realized, like, oh, like, this is what, when your focus is on your king, your master, and you're not opening yourself up to other men because somebody just put a thought inside of your mind.
Right.
And now you might be going to pick up a whole nother product. Maybe your husband told you to get a specific thing, but you opened yourself up to this other man and what he had to say. You done took home something totally different.
Yeah, and I mean, and females do that all, like the foolish ones do that all the time. They'll go and seek advice or like I'm gonna go get some wisdom from my friends or these other men, and they'll try to bring like, well, this person said this, and like as fighting tools to go and fight their husband. It's just like,
don't do it.
It's crazy. Trivia says, if you're missing one thing on her list of 100 qualities, you are disqualified. Then it would be, there's no good men out here. That's just just
don't have all the qualities. I mean, that's just like a job application. Like, you may not have all of the, they want you, you're supposed to have certain qualities or whatever, but I think that process also, like I said, I see that courting as it's an interview, and then you're getting to know a person. If they may not have certain qualities, or, if they do, if they don't, is that what you still want on your team?
Yeah, I think a difference is with the females, they'll like what they want in another person, they don't even exude. So it's like, it's just retarded. It doesn't make any sense.
I think he said that a lot. I want a man with 6 figures. Maybe you don't have 6 figures. So.
Right, exactly. The Yafe says, yes, Chief, I remember making lists in high school. We don't know nothing, but already making demands. Yeah. Chief says, once a woman would do something another man tells her to do. Okay. Once a woman will do something another man tells her to do, she will do what another man wants her to do. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you. And then Master Menelik says that's why a lot of females keep that friend zone, beta, or gay male energy friend around to get guidance without needing to submit to masculine authority. Yeah. That's why, like, it just, like, to me, I just keep thinking about whole people conjoin in union. These are broken people. They're like, we're speaking about, yeah, and that's just, we're talking about a righteous family. And the science of a righteous family.
Again, if you want to learn more and you want to kind of catch up with where we're going in these segments, go to the I New Life Global Ministries YouTube channel and watch some of the previous live episodes where our master, Jegna, and founder, Chief Yuya of I New Life Global Ministry, is sharing these teachings. He's going through the whole process from the emotional intelligence to the vetting process to the Redeemer, up until courting, vetting. Yeah, so that way you can catch up and understand where we're going with this. Ultimately, we're talking about polygyny. So if you want to get there, you got to start from the beginning.
Yes. So GGI says, true, Master Menelik, even if even the hordes or masculine females, gurus on the internet are the same energy. These females follow them in submission to masculine energy. Yeah. Sarah says, right. And the focus, even then, as Chief shared last night, that focus is on his vision and grind, not his bag. Yes.
Not his bag.
Yes.
Mind your business. Just mind your business.
Yeah, you're trying to be a gold digger. Really, it's just like
focus on the goal and the mission. Vision. What is the vision?
Yeah. Well, we appreciate it. I mean, y'all shared so much in the chat. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate y'all coming through and just kind of adding on to this discussion because it's a very important one. So, we appreciate it. I'm enjoying the series. I look forward to each and every segment that comes. I look forward to the next one, and applying
the teachings, absolutely.
So you can always share in the comments like how you're applying what you're learning from Chief Sabbath's insights. Mm-hmm. Okay, you're welcome, Vavakasha. Thank you for joining.
Toda Rabbah.
Peace, everyone. Shabbat shalom.
Peace.
You still rocking out with us? That's right. Check out some of our previous episodes to learn more about what the sisters in the house are doing. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel and catch Chief Yuya live every Sabbath. Only on House of Yuya.